This is not a conventional message in a bottle story. No love message or a broken heart. This particular case is about a ship. Whether there is any truth to the story, I do not know yet. Another YouTube subscriber suggested that I cover a mystery that involved a ghost ship of all things. Apparently, the story really got to her because, although she lived in a seaside town, she was always scared of the sea. The lassophobia, the extreme fear of large, open bodies of water, which is actually quite common, affecting between 5 to 10% of people in America. A local newspaper in Salalah, a city in Oman, ran a story in 2009 about an unconventional message in a bottle that was washed up on the shores of the Arabian town. The description of the item was found was a cell phone, probably an iPhone 3, wrapped in a lot of plastic and placed in a waterproof bag. It was a beautiful spring day, and the beaches were full of tourists. The first assumption was that it belonged to some or the other tourist. Trying to find that person would be near impossible, and you have the chances that will say that it was their phone just to get a free phone, even if it wasn't. The 3 children who found the cell phone decided to take it to the closest police station in hopes that the owner of the cell phone would go there. After 2 weeks of the cell phone sitting in a drawer at the police station, unclaimed, 2 of the most senior detectives decided to open up the package. From an interview by the local newspaper, the police officers said that they were hoping to find any personal information on the cell phone that would lead to finding the owner. However, when the police opened the package, what they weren't expecting was dried blood on the cell phone. Luckily, the owner had not set a password on the phone, so they were able to search through the videos and photos, all of the usual tourist shots. But then, they came across a voice recording that took them by surprise. What they heard was horrifying, so much so that the police immediately assumed that it was a joke or a prank. Eventually, the photo and WhatsApp messages that they were able to deduce that the phone belonged to a person aboard a large cruise ship. Judging by the model of phone, the photos, and the voice note, it was from 2008, and as such, it was unlikely that the phone would be claimed now by a tourist. After running the blood against any open cases or any cold cases, it came back negative, and as such, police handed it over to the local newspaper in a last-ditch effort to find the owner and what had happened. I am pretty sure that it went against privacy laws, but the newspaper fell in love with the horror story on the voice note and ran it in the newspaper fiction section. Do I think the horror story is real or fiction? The details seem so real, and there are details of the story that I don't think your average fiction writer would know or think about, unless they had worked on a cruise ship. I'm going to translate the juiciest parts of the voice note. Someone shouted, "Man overboard," and everyone ran towards the source of the sound, towards the bow of the ship. People are strange. I heard a cheer go up, and I can only assume that it was because the person overboard was rescued. A minute or 2 later, I heard a scream that would be called blood-curdling. There are more screams now. It sounds like something bad is happening on the main floor. I've come to my cabin in the staff quarters. I wish I had a weapon on me now, just in case. But there are all these stupid rules for staff. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like everyone on the ship is screaming now. The sound is deafening. I'm sure that you can hear them on the recording. I snuck out of my cabin and made my way up to the bridge. There is no one else here. I don't know where the captain and the other staff are. There was a lot of blood on the stairs up to the bridge. I have absolutely no idea what has happened, but now I'm scared. Whispering noises. Screaming noises can be heard. Laughter can be heard. Heavy breathing. Holy crap, that was close. I had just found a new hiding spot when I heard someone running past, screaming. It sounded like a woman. I peeked out and I saw her. Jesus, she was, dear God, she was all cut up. It was Mary, bleeding everywhere. I I was going to help her, but stopped dead. And I saw that there was a man with olive skin following her. Jesus! Those knives, no. Swords. They had to be swords. So long. I only saw it for a moment. They were these arms. No. Long as his arms. He turned my way as I moved further back into my hiding spot. He must not have seen me. I heard footsteps moving away. Jesus! I soiled myself, but I'm alive. We are close to Africa. Maybe the pirates, like in that movie with what's his name? Damn it! I don't want to die. I can smell smoke. I think the ship is on fire. I think I'm going to put my phone in some waterproof bags and make a break for the lifeboat. Maybe I can get away before he and his friends find me. Dear God! Mary! I'm so sorry, Mary. Please forgive me. If only we could have access to the original recording. It would be easier to decipher the recording if it was real, if we could hear the original person's voice, and possibly hear the screams. It would help us confirm if this is real or fiction. There was a selfie of a man posted with the article. It looks like it was taken on a ship called the Remembrance. However, there was no ship registered by that name in 2008. I did some digging about things that I could see in the picture, and I'm pretty sure that it is a Trojan-class cruise liner from the SCP World Cruise Company. However, according to records, there are only 3 made. 2 are still in operation today, named Get Me Not and the Memory Lane. There was a 3rd ship built at the same time called the Happy Palace, but on its maiden voyage had some accident when it was heading back from the cruise that went through the Suez Canal, and the fire gutted the ship completely and killed everyone on board. The damage was apparently so severe that the ship was decommissioned. From what I can see, there was no ship called Remembrance anywhere near Africa in 2008, or even 2009 for that matter. There was no other information, but I'll venture a guess that the company would try to cover up the accident. That would be some really bad publicity. I popped off an email to the company asking about the cruise liners that used this specific route in 2008. I was particularly interested in what happened to ship number 3 that year. It seems like a big coincidence. I received a very generic response that the ship number 3 had experienced a fire event, then was decommissioned thereafter. They are quite sparse on the details. How frustrating. I mailed a friend of mine who was into ships about it. He told me that it was just a ghost ship story, a pretty famous one in the coastal areas around Ceylala. He thinks that it's probably where the person who made the recording heard about it. The story goes that one night the gates of hell opened up and the ship sailed out of it, though the damned on board, screaming because they had escaped hell. As the celebrations died down, the evil fire ship sailed off into the horizon to find people to torment. In my friend's opinion, someone heard the ghost story and decided to make a prank about it by recording false audio, pretending to be on the ship, and photoshopping pictures of the ship and putting it on a phone. Why anyone would do this, he doesn't know. But people do weird things for attention. There are, however, some people on the internet that believe that the Illuminati owned the ship and that they were trying to gain immortality from a satanic ritual, sacrificing people on board the ship with ceremonial swords, and that before the purser could reach the lifeboat, he was attacked and dropped his phone in the water, conveniently inside waterproof bags. Once it was over, they covered it up, and by the time the phone came to light, it was just a ghost story to be told around a campfire. Others believe it was a passenger that snapped and started killing off others on board the ship. Most people think that it was just a tactless prank done by someone with too much time on their hands, though, much like my friend. We will never know what happened to the ship that never was, but it does make an interesting story. A message in a bottle from a ghost ship. This is Secrets, Crime, and Paranormal, signing out.